I'm back. I'm on my faux hawk. I'm on my faux hawk now. So we are at wool. So we're finally at some fabrics that I can touch. So going forward, I'm going to be wearing those garments. Be wearing a representation of every fabric going forward. I think I got everything. No, I have everything. So I'm going to be wearing some garments made out of those fabrics. So this is my wool. This is a wool blend. No, this is 100% wool. 100% wool V-neck cable knit from Ralph. I wear a lot of Ralph. I worked there for a while, so it's near and dear to my heart. But all right, so what we're going to talk about this week, we are going to talk about wool. And first, the very first type of lecture is called "What is Wool?" And you'll be like, "For real, Professor Johnson?" But for real. So we're going to talk about what is wool? What makes up wool? Wool is a natural fiber, so we'll talk about that. You'll get those definitions. And it's made of something that you also have on your body, right? So you'll get that in a few minutes. We also will talk about wool production, so how it's produced. It comes from an animal, so we'll go through that process of producing wool, of cutting, cleaning, categorizing, all that good stuff. We'll talk about the properties of wool. So in our, week 2, I gave you an extensive list of the properties of fabric. So we're going to talk specifically about the properties of wool. So get that table handy. I'll put it in the link though, but have that table handy because we're going to talk about some of the properties of wool. We're also going to talk about the types of wool because there are different types of wool, and we'll also talk about sustainability. So those are the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this week. As always, there's a bunch of terms you need to know, so make sure you know those terms as well, okay? And then your discussion board, we are going to look at, we're going to pull out our swatch book. Finally, I've been saving it to make sure that everybody got it. So we're going to pull out our swatch book, and we're going to do our discussion board based on some swatch selection, actually on a swatch selection. So I'm going to let you select a swatch, and we'll do our discussion board on that swatch. Okay, so I gave an example of what kind of response I'm looking for in the discussion board as well. So you are set to go. As always, right? Read the textbook. Go look at the lecture. When you're reviewing the lecture, there's a section of the lecture where I ask you to pull out your swatch book. So have your swatch book handy when you're reading the lecture, and then do the discussion board. Take care of the assignment, and then look at the recap. Okay, so I'm sorry. Take a look at the quiz. It's a quiz this time. It should have been a critical thinking activity, but it's a quiz. I changed it. So take care of that assignment as well. It is graded. It does have a due date on it, so make sure you get that taken care of, and then follow up with the recap of what we learned. So excited as always. Visiting hours are available to you if you need to stop by and see me. All right, see ya.